in the know.
Welcome. Good evening. I'm Miss Jill. Before we get started tonight, I do want to make an announcement, and then we will get to our guest for the evening. So we ask that you join us this weekend for a free financial workshop and panel. We ask that you bring a friend. You will gain valuable insights into budgeting and financial wellness. Effective Budgeting is the title, and this is, I believe, part 4 of the 4-part series. 65-inch TV giveaway, additional prizes, delicious food, a special $50 drawing exclusively for the men who attend. So that drawing, I guess, is exclusively for the men. So all the men need to be in the building. The women, you can bring the men also because we need a big TV. So we want to make sure that everybody attends that this weekend. Just to give you some details, the location for that is at the Fort Wayne Urban League, November 23rd. And I believe it's from 4 to 6 p.m. So be there. With that being said, we do have another event coming up, and we have a special guest with us tonight who's going to talk a little bit about that event. So first of all, good evening, everybody.
What's up? What's
happening?
Hello.
Everybody doing okay?
Yeah.
Good. It's beautiful. DJPupLuv is with us, also known as Mr. Michael Johnson. Welcome. How are you?
What's up, man?
Good to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
So before we talk about this event that you have coming up, let's learn a little bit about Michael or DJPupLuv. If you would briefly introduce yourself to those who may not be familiar with who you are.
DJPupLuv.theARTIST, DJ and artist and native of Fort Wayne. That's as simple as it gets.
Simple as it gets.
Yeah.
Simple enough.
Yeah.
Simple enough.
Yeah.
Humble.
Super brief. That was brief.
Humble right out the gate. Already.
A little bit.
So I'm going to start out with actually a quote that you had said at one point. So you had said, "I don't color in the lines." So I was reading over that a couple times, and I kind of want to know, because you said it a couple times actually, that you do not color in the lines. Tell us a little bit about what that's about.
It's just, I guess, a creative, artistic way of saying I think outside the box. Mm-hmm. That's all. I don't. When it's so much to explore, it's hard for me to stay in this lane. When it's so much over here to, have fun with, explore.
Yeah, I like how that line, you can attribute that to life or art or music or pretty much anything. And I love that you don't stay inside the box. And I think anybody who's familiar with some of your art per se, that's exactly how they would describe your art, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about this event coming up.
Okay.
It's on the 30th of November. Tell us about that. Where is it at? What time? And what are we going to expect when we show up?
Oh, you hit me with the expect question. With me, I have no idea, to be honest. No, it's next Saturday at the local archive down on the landing.
Okay.
Hopefully people know where that is. It's fairly new. So if you're familiar with the paper mill, it's the floor beneath that.
Okay.
I know they do a lot of wedding receptions, so people might be familiar with paper mill. So I don't have a set style. I kind of have 3 or 4 different styles. So it'll be just kind of a snippet of everything in a sense. So the theme is create, and I put 3 dots after that to kind of keep it open to your interpretation, but really it's like create your own lane. So it's not just an event, it's also like where I am in this moment in life, create my own lane instead of waiting for opportunities. Go out and create your own. So this is, do my own art show instead of waiting for a gallery to contact me or, someone else that say, hey, we have an opportunity for you.
Absolutely.
Well, I can go find a venue and round up my folks and come out and have a good time. So we're going to have live DJ.
Okay.
Actually a couple. Myself and Polaris
Okay.
will be on the wheels throughout the night. So it's just like a come network, come kick it, look at some artwork, have a good time, socialize. That's the environment that I want to create.
Perfect.
So not just your typical like art show where
Yeah.
you just look at art, you kind of quiet, you
For
got
sure.
your wine and just So I wanted the music,
The whole vibe.
Yeah.
Yes.
If it turned into a party,
Right.
it turn
And
into
that's
a
what
party.
it is.
You know what I see, and I mean, looking at, first of all, we like the art on the cover, right? The display. So I'm just saying, when I'm looking at this dude, I'm thinking he has a hammer in his hand and brushes in his pocket. It's about to go down. It sounds like something's about to come down and something's about to go up. So some building. So I'm just thinking about when you say coloring out of the lines, I'm thinking about, and knowing you, like you said, ain't no telling what might happen. But I can tell you, based on the events that I have participated in, you're going to walk away feeling good. So it's always a good atmosphere when you are in the building, educating, but just the whole thing about you having a brush in your hand, saying that to people. You got your own brush. When you come to the event, whatever, what you want to get from it, you can get from it.
Right.
So like you said, networking, if you want to stand off in the corner and just observe the art, etc., you can do that and take that away. But if you want to get in the mix and meet people and do all the other things, then you are open to do that. So, yeah. So that's what I'm always excited about what you're doing. So Jill said something at the beginning as far as you being humble. And you don't even want to admit to that, but people that know you know how you roll. And so there's nothing wrong with that. But I like how you move when you're, I'm going to say, in stealth mode. So you moving, you doing things, and you may not speak on it until the time is right. And it manifests and you're ready to bring it forth. So why do you feel like that's a good way to flow? Because we had a conversation.
Yeah.
And so just touch on it a little bit, because it might help somebody else that feel like they got to tell everybody else.
You mean stealth mode? Like why?
Yeah, you move like
Why I
that.
move like a ninja? Like just,
Yes.
Well, I've learned over the years for myself that sharing your ideas too soon, and it's not that people are trying to hate. I mean, there are some people that hate, but I think a lot of people intentions are good, but they can confuse you a little bit. When you like, hey, I'm about to do this, I'm about to do that. Then here they come with, hey, you ever thought about this? You ever thought about that? And then your idea, your original vision can kind of get muddy, distorted, blurred. Yeah.
Yes.
So I've learned from there just to keep my my thoughts to myself. And then another thing from it is, back in the day, I used to talk so much about an event, I felt like it was done already.
Yeah.
So I lose that momentum. So that was the second thing I noticed. And then the third thing I noticed is there are some people that actually do take your ideas. So like, anywhere it goes, it's a bonus. It's a bonus. Just keeping it to yourself and then just doing what you do. Just pop out, present your work, your product, your show, your event, whatever it is, and
let it speak for itself.
Let it speak from there.
I got a couple questions. Well, one main question for you, Pup.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
This part of the interview is over. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, gentlemen. I'm about to go. Eric's about to talk.
Oh wow, that's how you feel.
We go way back, so I'm almost afraid of what you might ask me.
Hey, but I've been around since carrying your crates and your equipment into the parties and different situations. And as I see you, from time to time, you grow. I haven't never seen you stagnant. Even though you might think you stagnant, but I have seen you grow. What keeps you push? What keeps pushing you to keep going to the next level?
One of the main things is I just love the creative space and just exploring. I constantly challenge myself. So like, I don't really like repeating the work that I've done. So every time, whether somebody commission me or I do a piece that's similar to what I've already done, I try to see what else can I add to it. So that it kind of forced me to keep thinking outside of the box, coloring outside the lines, trying new things, experimenting. So I guess from the outside looking in, that is evolving, I guess, in my work. But other than that, just I don't like to feel stuck. in anything. I don't like to feel stuck, so yeah, I know where we come from, you can feel stuck all the time, just, and I just like to, just explore the creative space.
Love that. Love that.
Can I ask this question real quick, Jill, before you go to the next one? So as far as your inspiration growing up, I mean, when did this just happen? Because I've seen the different art and it's like it almost comes off the paper, right? Off the canvas. So you said out the lines, off the canvas, out the box, etc. But when did that happen?
I don't have a set time. It just kind of developed over time. Like it just.
Did art class play a part of this in school, or it was before that?
No, it was after that. It was let me see. I would say it wasn't art class because even though I had an excellent art teacher at Harding, Miss Overmeyer, that was my homie. She gave me every art class possible. Then she was like, "Well, we don't have anything else for you.
Took them all.
Let's do independent art." I said, "Okay, that sounds good for me." So but I think once I got out on my own and started experimenting, understanding the benefit behind exploring and experimenting and trial and error and giving yourself time to mess up and play around with different elements, it kind of developed over time. Just and then just wanting to be, different and challenging myself, each time, how can I take this piece? Like if you hit me up and say, "Hey, I saw a piece that you did at the Y. I want one just like that." I'm like, "Just like that?"
Right.
Just like that. So I try to tweak it a little bit and come up with new materials. Yeah.
Again,
Or just a little different,
Exactly.
So, just keep evolving, keep going.
I love that.
So that kind of goes in line with what I was going to say next. So a lot of people have a passion or something that they're good at or a dream, but they never put that into fruition. So when you were growing up, you drew cartoons, right? So when you talk about that, or when you read that this is what this man grew up, started doing, and here we are, November 30th, you're creating an art show in your own space with your own work. What advice can you give to people? Because let's be real. I know you're humble, but I'm gonna blow it up a little bit. Photographer, graphic designer, videographer, woodworker, DJ, and a fine artist. That's a lot. That's a lot. What advice do you give to somebody who's watching, who has a talent, who has a passion, who is terrified to put it into fruition?
Oh, how much time do we have? Because that's a whole
17 minutes and 29 seconds. Plenty of time.
I don't think we have enough time to answer that. To put it in action?
Yes. Because people are sitting on talents and passions, and they're not sharing that with the world for whatever reason.
I guess find your why. Find your why and just go full force. Because everybody's why is different.
Yeah.
It may be your children or your family or to break what is it called? Not a curse, but family. What is it?
Like a generational
Generation,
curse. Yeah, right.
It could be you want money to pay your bills sometimes. It could be you got all this bottled up energy inside of you and you just want to express yourself and get it out. Whatever your why is, just attack that. And again, if you go back to that other concept, don't try to find out other people's why.
Yeah,
just stick to your why. Because then if you need to get that money, but that's not really my why,
right.
I'm going to start. I'm going to start and stop, most likely. But if I can find my why and stick with that and let that be the driving force, most likely I'm at least step out there and try it. And then give yourself grace, because I know the first attempt, you're not going to.
Absolutely.
You're not going to score the first time you pick up a basketball.
Yeah. Sometimes even the 50th or 60th time.
So you just got to keep at it. And I know it's easier said than done, but that's the truth. That's really.
Yeah, when you say that, I was going to, you think it easier said than done. What were and are some of the greatest challenges that you face from day to day? Just trying to do your thing or doing your thing and then moving into the next thing. What are the challenges that you face?
Balance. Like just balance on a lot of different things. The main one is being an artist, which they always say starving artists, and then paying your bills, you know, and then trying to figure out how to balance the two, you know. Some people can get a job in between and be able to balance both those worlds. Some go jump straight out there throughout the backup plan, and they have to figure out how to balance these two. So that's one of the biggest challenges for myself. And then on top of, well, I guess it plays a part making it a business, because, you know, art, they, you know, it's what's my motivation? Right. Well, if you're trying to be a businessman and an artist, you ain't got time to be motivated. So you got to get rid of that. I had to learn that the hard way. Like, I can't wake up and search for motivation, because it might be 3 years before I paint something. So I got to, you know, have discipline, and when I don't feel like paint or do something constructive, and it might just,
right. That discipline keeps you going when the motivation isn't there. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
How do you feel? Do you feel like you've been supported by your own community?
Yes, 100%.
That's great.
Like, I do, for real. Like, I'm not just saying that because the cameras are on.
Yes.
And I really feel like even going back to my family is amazing. I love my family. They've been supporting me since day one. And then on to my classmates, the people I went to Village Woods and Village Elementary and Harding, you know, they were always supporting somehow, whether it's cutting hair, whether it's wanting me to DJ parties. They believed in me before I even know I needed that. You know? So then from there, it went, you know, when we started doing the basement heads, and they were coming around, and, you know, the parties. And so it was always that when I got into that moment where I needed to reflect, that's who I saw was those faces, you know.
Right.
Know? So the community, even when I came back, had no idea what I was doing. Moving back from Atlanta, was like, hey, I want to do fashion shows and talent shows, and I contacted you. Had no clue what I was doing, but she tucked me under her wing and was like, do this, do that. Don't do that, but do more of this right here. So it's always been support. Yeah.
And you mentioned Atlanta. You actually went to college in Atlanta for fashion design, right?
Yep.
Talk a little bit about how that went.
It didn't.
Yeah, right.
It didn't at all. That was not.
I read that.
I went.
I read that. It didn't.
I went.
Because you said, I don't want to do this. I just want to draw. I don't want to sew.
See, back then, it was, what was the influences? We had, it was fresh. So we had Crocodile, FUBU. So it was like a fresh movement. Yeah. And so I was like, I like hip hop clothes. I want to make some hip hop clothes and tailored suits. And so when I got to Atlanta and got, enrolled in school, and it was the first one I went to was an art school. So it was literally that I'm surrounded by artists and everything, purple hair and whatever, So once we sat in class, they was like, well, get out your sewing machines. What? You want me to do what? Get out your thread and needles. Wait, what am I doing?
I'm not here for this.
Yeah, so I was like, this is not what I want to do. So the more I stayed there, the more I realized I just want to design the outfits, pass it on to somebody else, and let them do all that. And I didn't know any better. If I did, I would have stayed there, and then later on, did that.
That was coming. There was a couple chapters later.
Yeah. So and then I left and went to Clark for a year, and then just was like, school is not my cup of tea.
Well, and I brought up the support from the community because I think a lot of people, especially in the Black community, feel like there's not enough support from their community. So I wanted to ask you that question, but I also wanted to tell you that your name comes up a lot in rooms that I am in. And it does. Your name came up the other day in our studio meeting. So you do have the support, like you said, of the community. I think even when you don't realize that you have the support, because I think anytime your name is being brought up in rooms full of like opportunities, you have done something right.
Wow.
Absolutely.
And since you said that, Jill, then so I want to be a witness to that too, because I was at the Clyde.
Man.
And somebody was talking about the art on the wall. And I thought I was going to get in that conversation, but it wasn't my conversation. But they were just talking about how just different the art was and just checking it out. And then I thought, I know him, but they didn't know me. They didn't care what I think or what I thought. But yeah, so at that point, somebody else said your name.
Wow.
And so they had a conversation about your art. and you weren't in the room. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Big deal when your name is mentioned when you're not even in the room.
Yeah,
Exactly.
First time I went in the Clyde room, I was like, wait a minute, I've seen these before. Wait, this is Pups. And I had to look like, you have your own unique style.
That's
so
right.
it's not like I can duplicate what you do, because it's not like, okay, I could, wait a minute, he put a, okay, how did he do that one? So is your artwork is so unique. And one of my biggest questions to you, like, who are some of the artists in Fort Wayne that you were like, okay, you see their stuff, you're like, yeah, I like that.
That's a good question.
Oh, it's a lot of them. It's a whole lot. Because first of all, Theo is a beast. You got Theo. You got my niece Bonjo. Well, she's my honorary niece, Bonjo. Oh man, Ron Lewis. Oh my goodness, Ron Lewis. I'm waiting for him to do a show. Like, y'all looking at me like y'all don't know who Ron
I know
Lewis
who
is.
Ron
You know who
Lewis
Ron
is.
Lewis
Yes.
is. Ron Lewis is like a hidden beast. So when he pop and do his thing, I know he's going to surprise a lot of people because he does animation. He's just airbrush. And he's a monster. So Theo, Ron, Bonjo.
And the other one's gonna get you if you can't remember their name. No.
Yeah, I just because you put me on the spot. I was like, I'm blanking out.
He forgot you.
Sometimes when you lie, it really does.
Yeah, it
Don't
is.
admit.
Yeah, keep talking because you're giving me time. Keep talking. Oh my goodness.
Look, when he have his walk of fame for all of the people from
Make
the
sure
city,
you write it
then
down.
there you go.
Make sure you write it down.
I am drawing a blank for real. I can see their faces and it's just
You bring a list next time.
He giving shots out at his show.
So is the art world in the city of Fort Wayne, is it huge or is it quiet?
I think it's both. Just from my experience, this is just my opinion. Especially coming back from Atlanta, like, being here before I left, I was just like everybody else, just kind of sheltered. We know Fort Wayne. But once I got to Atlanta, or I'll put it like this, just having access to the outside world through television, it seems so far away.
Yeah.
And they seem so polished and way ahead of us with our raw talent and, stuff like that. So when I got down there, I started to see different artists, whether they were poets, singers, dancers, whatever. And as they're performing and people are in an uproar and just loving them, I'm already thinking like, hey, they just like Chip. Oh, that's just like Passion. Oh, that's just like, so naming people at home whose talent was like right there with theirs.
Right.
So when I came back, I realized we had a lot of talent in the city, just raw talent, just sitting dormant. So I think we have a lot of creatives.
I agree with
Yes.
that. Mike.
But-
Say that.
But as far as like getting out, that's when I think it's a small community. Like again, your Theo, your Ron, your Bon Joe, Afro Punk, Lindy, and the other ones that I'm just throwing them back again. I tried to come back. I tried to come back. I tried to do a recall and it just failed.
We're gonna get it. We're gonna get it next time.
So I think we have a core group that's out there pushing, and I think hopefully the rest of them could kind of see like, okay, we can do a little something.
Yeah.
Now it might not just be in Fort Wayne, but maybe we can start here
Sure.
and reach out to the world, maybe through social media or
For
actually
sure.
physically going somewhere else. And
That's what I
doing
was
some
going to
work.
ask you. How does the collaboration look with the artists? And have you even tried to do that yet? Not yet.
What's interesting is from my understanding, we all cool. Like Cedric, yep.
Got another.
Yep.
Okay.
Cedric.
So cool, but can y'all work together?
Right.
Do you know yet? I mean, have you tried that, or
I think
maybe later?
from my perspective, we have tried it, but not intentionally. Like it could be somebody hit me up and say, "Hey, I'm doing this show. with several different artists, and we get there, and next thing you know, we helping each other hang paintings.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Oh, you need this, I got this.
And
So it's
sometimes
kind
that's
of
the best way.
That's the best
It's
way.
so
Yeah.
authentic.
yeah.
You know,
So it was organic.
no strings attached.
We just showed up and just that love in the room. So
Right.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I think we can if it was
Yeah.
organized and not just organized, but if it had, let's be 100, if it had the right elements and resources attached, like
Yes.
funding,
Yeah.
because artists do need funds. A
Right.
lot of people ask us to come show our artwork just for the strength of showing our artwork, and it's like I think me and you had that conversation
Yeah, we did.
several years ago, and it's like and Eric didn't know my perspective on that. When I told him, which I appreciate, he listened and was like, he didn't try to overtalk me or change my thoughts. He was like, oh, I never thought about it that way. But we move our artwork around. A lot of us don't have huge vehicles
Sure.
to move it around, so we damage our work. We go out and show it. We get a lot of oohs and ahs, and then we have to walk home, or not walk home. Who's walking home with their artwork? But we have to return home
With the
Yeah.
with
artwork.
all the artwork
Yeah.
and didn't sell anything. Just when people were
Right.
saying, "Oh, everybody's going to be there. Dr. Such and Such is going to be there. Such and such lawyers are going to be there, and they're going to buy your work," and they gas you up, and you go home like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I still can't pay my bills.
Yeah.
And this is a real thing, not just your experience, but this is the reputation of artists. So, I mean, did you know that, or did you have a fear of that, actually stepping into this as a career?
No, I had no clue.
What were you thinking?
I-
Like,
I
for
was-
real?
I wasn't thinking anything.
Mhm.
I just jumped out there and just
Yeah.
was like swimming. I think.
Okay, that's what I
think
I'm
I'm
not
swimming.
drowning.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
not drowning, so I must be swimming. I don't know what I'm doing. So
Floating.
I didn't put any thought to it. I didn't do any research. I
Right.
went with what I was feeling inside, and
That's good.
just
Like most
jumped out.
creative people do. I
Yeah,
mean,
I think
that
so.
happens. But it's kind of like, I'm just thinking the rap game, and some people get out there and they think, man, I'm gonna blow up. I got a different sound, a different vibe, and then they just moving along, and then next thing they know, time has passed, and now I'm 50 years old, and I'm still trying to get my first song out there. And so, I'm just thinking like art gotta be one of those hard areas, career
Yeah.
choices
It
too.
is.
I would think
It
so
is.
too.
It is because it's. I think again, this is all my perspective, but I think people don't realize that there are gatekeepers in the art world, just like
course.
anywhere else. Because I guess we can seem to be that kumbaya, cool, laid
Yeah.
back, career, but not when it comes to money and
Sure.
art is when you get up there is very lucrative.
Yeah.
So of course with that it comes the gatekeepers.
Yep. In the competition.
So it's
Yep.
it's in a competition and cutthroat, and so it makes it challenging when you have to deal with all of that. And I forgot the original question. I kind of just veered off.
But you answered it.
No, you
I did.
Yeah,
I
yes,
did.
you
I
did.
was
talking
Yeah,
about-
I did that on purpose. I did that on purpose.
On purpose.
Yeah, I was just talking about the challenges you face in choosing that career. Kind of like the rapper that turns 50
Oh,
and
yeah,
he's still
yeah,
trying to
yeah.
get that
Right.
first hit out there
Yeah.
or get signed. So I'm saying it's kind of like the same way with artists, because it's like it's like a continual struggle, a continual hoping and wishing that the person walking through the door is getting ready to buy
Right.
an art piece.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
You
yeah. It is. You do a lot
Michael-
of that.
I'm gonna ask you a question, Mike. I'm gonna take you all the way back.
Oh boy.
Take you to the Black.
P-Funk, right?
I'll take you back to the Black Expo.
Oh yeah, you was. Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Would
go
you
ahead.
ever print them on shirts again, or you kind of veer away from that?
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
No.
We'll see. I don't know, brother. I don't know what I'm about to do.
Oh,
He told us he was stealth
I don't-
mode. He is
I
not
don't
going to
know
give it.
something.
I don't let my
You know,
left hand know what my right hand, or my right hand left. One of the. I don't let one hand know what the other.
I'll
one's
see you
doing.
after the show. Don't worry about it.
Right.
Who
right.
knows?
Stay tuned.
Michael,
I don't know what artwork. I may put artwork on shirts again. I don't know.
Stay tuned.
I may put my own artwork on shirts. I don't know. How do you tell me? I don't know.
Wow, that answers that.
So,
Exactly.
You don't know, huh?
Before
yeah, I don't
we
know. I might hand paint some shirts. I don't know.
Before we exit, and I know you're not going to say a lot because you are stealth and don't like to tell your moves, but can you give us a little hint after we come on November 30th? Can we expect anything upcoming after that you kind of have in your mind as far as anything else that you can give us a hint about?
Oh, I could tell you that because this is actually this has now turned into part one of two.
Okay.
So this will be the first show, and then in January I'm bringing part two of
Good
the
to
show.
know. You'll have to let us know when that's going to be.
I definitely
in
will.
January. But we do have had a great time talking to you.
I had a great time.
Your
as
name
well.
truly is mentioned in rooms, and I think that's important for people to know, the impact that they're having, because there's a lot of things that we don't hear that other people do. So if your name is mentioned in a room of opportunities, like I said, you've done something right. So we do want to thank you for being here. We look forward to your show. We hope it's a great success, and look forward to hearing more about your plans. Again, I'm just going to reiterate this coming weekend, 65-inch TV giveaway. Additional prizes, delicious food, $50 drawing exclusively just for the men. And that is 4 to 6 at the Urban League this Saturday from 4 to 6. Thank you again for being here, Michael, Mr. Johnson. And before we exit, we always say,
always protect your mind.
good night.
A podcast by Neutral Voices Media Group. In the Know.